I went to North Korea in 2013. It was going to be the 60th anniversary of Victory Day, as it's known here, or the Armistice, as it is known everywhere else. And I was curious to see what the celebrations would be like. It was also the result of a search for a different kind of adventure. And I had 3 criteria. It needed to be somewhere I could experience something I had never experienced before. Somewhere I had to go now, before it ostensibly could be changed forever. And somewhere my mother would disapprove of. North Korea satisfied all 3. And so a friend and I set off to Beijing to catch the 12-hour train to Pyongyang. And the atmosphere in that train was electric. There were 30 strangers pulling out of this bustling metropolis and disappearing to the outside world for 10 days. Think about it. No internet, no cell service, no news. For 10 days, all we would have would literally be each other. What would that be like? And so the first moment of anxiety sort of crept up on us as we approached the North Korean border. How long would they hold us there? How thoroughly would they search our stuff? Would they confiscate anything? It turned out they were very interested in our stuff. The guards sat on our bunks, went through our cameras, and asked us all sorts of questions about our photos. Where had we been? What was it like? Did we have fun? And in that moment, I realized that they were just like me, curious to know about other people and where they came from and their perspectives. The mass games were a highlight in North Korea, exactly as its name suggests. 100,000 people participating in this mass extravaganza of music, dance, art. 30,000 children lining a wall with little flipbooks that would change extremely precisely and rhythmically, showing a landscape that matched with the music and the action. Admittedly, a level of collective commitment that you could probably only find in a communist country. But again, like when you zoomed in with your fancy cameras to some of those kids making up this landscape flipbook wall, you'd see that they were poking each other, laughing at each other, flipping pretty perfectly rhythmically all the same. Just like kids everywhere. Victory Day. We weren't allowed access to the official festivities in the stadium, but we were allowed to line the streets. And that's where I realized that American and Korean definitions of technology and security were completely opposed. These old creaking tanks went past spewing noxious fumes, and a fellow traveler's white leather handbag was an unfortunate victim of all the oil specks that came out of the exhaust. But you could touch these tanks, literally, and you could feel the palpable joy and pride that the Koreans took on this occasion. Not unlike the joy and pride and happiness that you'd find in people going to the July the 4th fireworks. However, there was one thing in North Korea that could only be done in North Korea. If you knew the email address of a person beforehand, you could pay $3 to send an email from the sketchiest Korean address imaginable. And so me and my friend, who had worked on, for senior capstone, a project involving long-range underwater autonomous vehicles, sent a formal, vague, and threatening email to our professor, claiming that the Koreans had discovered our work and that our freedom could only be guaranteed via the exchange of 3 of these vehicles. He added a postscript saying it was a joke, and that if he replied back in time, we'd get a telegram under our door. He duly did, using many expletives. And so in the end, I had to leave North Korea at the end of the trip. And what did I learn? I learned to question my own axioms and beliefs, and the things that to an absolute outsider would look strange, perhaps a little odd, perhaps a little ill-informed. And I learned to question those. But I also learned that deep down, despite the rhetoric or the ideology of the governments, the people are fundamentally the same, seeking joy, seeking happiness, and endlessly curious about other people. Would I go to North Korea again? Probably not. I mean, there are other adventures to have, other places my mother would disapprove of. But would I encourage anybody else who had the opportunity to go to grasp it with both hands? Absolutely. Thank you.